right, cool. So week 6, Great Range Athlete Marcy team. It's so nice to see you all. It's been a really fun little journey with you guys here, and hopefully some more people will funnel in as we go. This week, I just want to hear, from each of you, get some, feedback in terms of, kind of big picture stuff from all of you guys individually, and kind of hear how your journey went. What was your experience like? Um, and overall, how are you? I just want to hear from you because obviously we hear in the Marco Polo, we hear from you each week. But what I'd like to really hear is kind of dive a little deeper into, each of your wins, things that went well, things that were a struggle, what was hard, things you overcame, wins, losses, that sort of thing. But we'll just get started since Randall, I know you have to sign off here quickly. But that's pretty much what I want to do on this week 6 call. And I didn't get to see you guys last week, even though I feel like I see you every week and every day, which is great. And it's been a fantastic part of this journey. As I told you on recent calls, the Marco Polo app is new to me. With all of my stuff, I used to use a different app, and this was my first time using Marco Polo. It was recommended to me by a friend, and it did not disappoint. And I thought it was actually one of the highlights for me personally as the coach of the experience. But let's start with you, Randall. So since you got the sign off shortly, um,
Sure.
hit me with the kind of your overall kind of thoughts. What did you think coming into the program that it was going to be like? And I know you already kind of had some great range athlete experience in some of those workout programs, but what did you think coming in as you were doing the training? How did it go? Wins, losses, struggles, that sort of thing. And then where do you feel like you are now? Hit us with a kind of that story.
Sure. I popped on to this program pretty much as a preparation for the upcoming 46er season for me. I don't live up there. It's a challenge. I'm like a lot of people. I live 5.5 hours, traffic permitting, at sea level, chasing mountains. It can be difficult, but uh, I can't stop. I'm obsessed with it. Ever since I failed my first attempt at Marcy, where I was less than a quarter mile from the summit and I bonked. I was like, I just didn't look back. I'm now in 27 peaks in, and I was getting ready. As I mentioned before, I was uh, post knee replacement, so I saw this as an opportunity uh, to focus on high peak specific training. And I gotta say, the 6 weeks, it's been a 46er hike in microcosm, in that it's been agonizing. Some things worked out, some things didn't. When it was going on, certain points of the journey, I was like, man, I'd rather be any place else there than where I am right now. But I and then I would push myself forward. And then when I was yesterday was particularly difficult for me for whatever reason. Might have been the 96% humidity at 90 degrees with nowhere to run. But I'm looking back now, and I've made gains in every session. My biggest concern was the strength recovery in the surgically repaired knee, and that's definitely happening. I'm doing burpees now. At one point, I thought they were just clinically impossible the way I was feeling, but now, um, with the Tabata workout, yeah, I was just the next thing I'm looking up and I'm like, I'm airborne on the burpees. I'm like, I didn't even notice. It was just some subconscious thing. And yeah, I'm back to that. And I mentioned that before, that it's also it's spilling into my other activities. For instance, a burpee, a plank, nothing, not too dissimilar to the core activities that we do when we're on a surfboard. The burpee is essentially a surf pop up, except for where
Hmm.
our feet land, and that's getting easier too. But I have nothing but positive things to say about it, and I'm really looking forward to, if weather permitting. They're talking about thunderstorms and flash floods on Monday, at least here, but we have a big McIntyre Range hike coming up. This will be the first litmus test. I did it. I did a high peak before this program,
Hmm.
and I felt okay. That was Seymour, and now I'm going to do the McIntyres for a second go around. They're my favorite range. I got a group of people that I'll be going with and seeing them through. And I'm really, really looking forward to see the gains in application in the high
Mhm.
peaks in the next couple of days. And I was thinking, well, maybe I'll pop in and say hello to you before you head out on your trip to Marshall on Saturday. I'll be
Mhm.
in the neighborhood. So I'm
Okay,
looking forward.
great. So you're coming up this weekend then for that, you said.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. I'll be if all goes well, I'll be leaving tomorrow night or
got it.
well, Saturdays when your trip is, right?
Yeah, it's doing
Yeah.
hitting Marshall on Saturday. Actually, Matt's coming. Matt in the
Okay.
group is
Yeah.
coming too.
So I
Yeah,
might
it's
be in
gonna be cool.
transit when that's going down, but yeah, that's where I'm at. And yeah, I'm looking forward to going to do the Gothics program when this is done. By no means am I done. And
Mhm.
yeah, it's been awesome. I've been really
Awesome.
enjoying the interactions and the gains.
I
Good
love it,
stuff.
dude. I love hearing it. It's always great seeing everyone's videos in there. Everyone has such a unique kind of demeanor about you on camera. Like I feel like at this point, every person could do an impression of everybody else because everyone is so unique when they deliver like their messages. So it's
Yeah.
always so exciting. It's so great. Um, Actually, the McIntyre Range is a fantastic hike to do right now because you're not crossing any rivers. Um, yeah, our Marshall hike may end up being done in a more strategic manner, or may end up changing
Yeah.
depending on what the river level is like, because the rivers are super high right now. But yeah, McIntyre Range will be fine. You won't be affected by anything up there for this weekend, so you'll be great. Saturday is going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
Uh, you said thunderstorms. I didn't see that anywhere, but anyways, maybe you're looking somewhere that I'm not
I
looking.
just, well, maybe it's a subconscious reaction. I just assume after my incident on Whiteface,
Mhm.
0% chance of rain, sunny, and then we ended up in the worst rain of my life. It
Sure.
just, you know how it is up there.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Just don't
And you know,
care.
the mountains don't care about you. The mountains cannot be contained by our conventional weather forecasts. They have two fingers for you if you want to give a weather forecast. But cool, dude, it's great. I'm super stoked to hear that it's gone that well for you, and I love seeing it. And especially with you, you know, with your knee, obviously that presented some limitations, but it sounds like you were able to overcome those things, train around it, get
Yeah.
stronger so that you can, you know, ultimately have some nice adventures. That was the goal here.
Yeah, it's at a point now. My main objective was to get myself into the condition that I had with the right knee that was worked on, which is to not think about the knee.
Hmm.
When you have
Awesome.
major knee surgery, it's just it's so hard to get over that hump. You're just thinking about you just don't want to injure it. You don't want to get into that. You know, and now I'm at the point where I'm not even thinking about the knee.
Yeah,
I feel strong enough
that's great.
in its present state, and I can't wait to put it through the ringer this weekend.
Sure. Absolutely. Great great mountain range to do it in because you're going to be climbing up, 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 and up.
Oh yeah.
Very cool. All right, great. Love to hear it, man. Let's hit you, Jeff. I know you also are down at sea level. Talk to me about what happened for you. So, like, you know, quick kind of introduction, why you came into the program. You know, what you hope to get out of it. What were some good wins, some struggles, things you overcame, and kind of how you feel now compared to how you would have, you know, 6 weeks before. Like, kind of talk to us a little bit about your progress.
Yeah, so I used to hike quite a bit several years ago, and I kind of stopped, I don't know, 6 years ago. And I used to hike a lot of elevation and, take some aggressive hikes, always had a lot of fun doing it. And so I just fell off the hiking wagon, I guess you'd call it. And this spring, when my dad was sick in the hospital in Elizabethtown, I was staying in Elizabethtown a few times, and I just started looking for hikes in the area. So the first one I did was I went down to Bald Peak, which is on the way up to Giant. It's the
Hmm.
north, the Russian. What's the name of that town? Russia.
New Russia, New
New
Russia.
Russia.
Yeah.
And then I got really winded. I loved it, but I got really winded, and scrambling over some of the rocks towards the top, I was like, oh, this is a little, making me a little nervous, in the shape I'm in. And so, but I kept it up. I did Owl Head, I did Cascade, and I did a few other hikes around there. And then I was riding back in my car one day, and I was like, I wonder if there's any podcasts about hiking in the Adirondacks. And that's how I found your podcast and started listening to it. And I thought it was pretty cool. And then one day I'm driving with my wife, and you, at the end of the podcast, we're talking about the Great Range Athlete Program. I was like, that's great. I can get back into hiking shape so I can start doing hikes again. And that's really how I got into it. And so I'm looking forward to, I haven't really done a hike per se since I started the program. So I did Cascade maybe 2 weeks before, and looking forward to the hike next weekend. I will be up there for that.
Awesome.
And a few more hikes. I'm going to be up in the Tupper Lake area for the whole week. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what differences are made in terms of my ability to kind of do a steady climb, you know, pick up some elevation. In terms of what I've noticed, I mean, I've definitely noticed much more leg strength. Every single exercise that was difficult at the beginning has become much easier. Burpees are not difficult now, except after that insane 100-rep exercise the other day. I was like, no way am I doing burpees after this.
Sure.
Yesterday with the, what is it called? The
Tabata. Yeah.
You know, that was intense, and it really, like, I was dripping wet by the end, but I was able to get through it just fine with no problems. And it just felt so good to be able to see that sort of development and accomplishment, and just generally the strength that I've picked up. So
awesome.
In all, I'm very happy.
Very cool. Now, what hit me, any sort of, I know you touched on it a little bit, but any sort of other than like those, you know, the 100-rep stuff, anything stick out to you in your mind that was, you know, times where it was particularly difficult and or I should say not difficult, inconvenient, but you still showed up? Is there any times like that
no,
you kind of had to get yourself to do it? I know you traveled a lot during this.
Yeah,
program.
definitely. Like when I was traveling, it was kind of easy. It was also early on, so I was really sort of like still in the phase of, oh, this is, you know, fun and a challenge and all that. And then, you know, the last week and this week, I've been juggling a lot, and it was a real grind, and I just got worn out by having a fun weekend as well. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of this week, I mean, it was really tough to get motivated to get started, and I did it anyway, and I felt good about doing it. It didn't mean like I was feeling good at the end of it, but I felt like, you know, okay, I stuck with it. I showed up, I got it done. And there were a few times over the past couple of weeks where I've just had one of those mornings where I'm like, this is the last thing I want to do. And I ended up doing it. So, and to me, I hope that's a repeatable behavior for the future, because I had gotten to a point with my workouts where I was really just kind of half-assing it. I was working out, I was lifting weights, but I'd slowly shrunk the length of my workout and the intensity of my workout, that what I was doing was really not that. I mean, it was great, you know, it's still showing up, right? But I like the results I've seen from actually putting in real work, and so that's motivated me to keep doing that. And I like the short, like the one yesterday, the Tabatas. I love the idea that you can like do something like that in a short period of time. So
I think there's a common misconception
and intense. You know?
There's a common misconception that, you know, and that's, I mean, in society in general, it's like, I don't have an hour, so I'm not going to go. And it's like, well, you got 10 minutes, you can hammer something out in 10 minutes. And, you know, that my joke that I always tell people, you know, in the film industry, you know, where I've worked since I was 22 years old, we work very long hours. So I hear from people all the time, oh, there's no time to do this or that. I say, jump up and down where you are right now and time yourself for the next 5 minutes and tell me how hard you're sweating and how wet you are. Like, you don't need a lot of time. You just need to get going and start. And then, you know, you can be very impactful with a short period of time. But that's great. I love it.
Impactful in a short period of time is, I think, the key word, because I think I've realized you can really do something really intense in a short period of time. And I like that too, because some days I just don't have the time. I'll wake up a little late, or something will happen in the morning and I have to get to the office. I take a commuter boat across Boston Harbor to get to my office every day. And so I gotta hit that boat, you know. And it's easy to say, I'll just not work out today. Or I'll do 15 minutes and do something really light. But if I can do a really intense 15 or 20 minutes, then that, you know, like will be better.
No, that's great. That's great. What do you, I don't know. What do you do for work that has you on a commuter boat? That's amazing.
Well, that's because my town is like, that's the best way to, it's one of the reasons why I moved to this town, because it has a commuter boat across Boston Harbor, which is
Cool.
a really nice way to go to the office. Although now I take it for granted. I've just got my head in my phone the whole way
Sure.
across the harbor. I'm not like gazing out at the beautiful waves anymore like I did when I first moved here.
Yeah.
But no, I work in finance, so I advise food companies
Okay.
on doing deals. So
It's a
helping
great,
them.
it's a great commute you have there then. Very
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
No, it's awesome. And yeah, I look forward to hearing and I'm obviously I'll be there on the hike with you, but um I saw enormous improvements from every single person in here throughout the program because I remember and I was taking notes. I have like a note in my phone about, I would like give my impression and my thoughts on pretty much every one of you actually. Based on your messages on there, I was like, okay, so this is kind of the level this person's at. This is kind of the level this person's at. Just getting an understanding for where you kind of are. And every single person here by the end is like at the exact same level. Every single person was like firing on all cylinders. And there's different times throughout the program or different messages people would send where it's like, oh, this person overcame this today. Awesome. So I'd write it down. This person didn't feel like showing up, but still showed up. Wrote that down. Like, or this person's on the road traveling, still got it in. Like that's the stuff that makes the difference is showing up regardless of the circumstances. And I know for you, Jeff, I saw that a lot from you, so I commend you for that. You obviously reaped the benefit of showing up, realizing that yeah, you don't need an hour. You can whatever you got, you just got to focus and hammer during that time, and the rest of it tends to work itself out. So super awesome to hear. Love it. Been great having you in there. Mr. Brian, hit me with your kind of thought process and hit me with kind of where you were at before, what your impression was coming into Great Range Athlete, kind of what changed, how it evolved, where you are now, etc.
Yeah, so kind of thinking about where I was before. Yeah, like I only heard of you from the podcast, and I listened to it the first day it dropped. Now the funny part about the day it dropped was so bummed that there was a snowstorm that hit up here, and I could not go. I was stuck at work, and I'm going like, wow. And all of a sudden, it's just like 46 of 46 podcasts. Hey, it sounds like 30 for 30, Sports Center, whatever.
Yeah.
And got me all fired up, and been listening ever since. And
awesome.
But advice from the show, I don't think you've never given a piece of bad advice. So when it came into kind of going into the Great Range Athlete, and I was kind of looking into it, really him and Han about it, listen to the podcast of what you kind of described it a little bit more. And the one thing, I can do any of the smaller peaks all day. So anything with fire towers, anything that's under 2 miles, I'm fine. As soon as I anywhere near the high peaks, I am wiped for the next 3 days afterwards, just sore and all other stuff like that. So even though I'm doing the Spartan races and working out two times a week, it just wasn't gearing me up for the mountains. And my default wanted to be I could go out and enjoy the mountains because I live so close to them.
Yeah, sure.
So going into the program, I was kind of trying to build my mental checklist of what's going on and what to do. At the first 2 days, I was starving. Like literally, I was just so hungry. I mean, when I say I went to an HR picnic, I do not go to HR picnics just to socialize or do anything. I went there because I'm like, I don't have enough food and I needed to go get food.
Yeah, I love it.
So that was a pretty good eye opener from there. So kind of where we kind of evolved here, it was more not making any excuses. I know we kind of got on Marco Polo a lot and talking. I'm not a social media person. So for me to kind of get on and talk to you guys every day and send a video and everything else like that, I'm very surprised I do that and do it kind of like at ease with you guys. So there's that part that's kind of a breakthrough for me. The other part, as far as with the workouts and then continuing with the OCR workouts, so doing some double days and stuff like that, I was surprised how getting the proper nutrition kind of really kind of changing the diet a little bit more. I was able to maintain that pace of what was going on. I think that helped too. And then, and kind of getting to now, I think the other part was adding on not just the physical side, but the mental part, where we're talking about who showed up today, how did you show up, and that happened for me this week. So the win of the week for me was actually dealing with this storm coming in. So now I'm the head of security for a museum of art. They got hit pretty hard last year with the flooding. So Tuesday I was wiped. I was pretty much I actually hurt my hand training on Monday. So I was really feeling sore. The heat was getting to me. And when I got up, I'm like, all right, I'm going to do the workout. I need to show up to work because I need to prep for this storm. I need to make sure everything's ready. So everybody's ready to respond. All the sensors are working. And then I'm doing my second shift again as a patrolman. I'm like, I need to be ready for that over there too. So starting out the day with that workout, getting kind of, basically fired up, getting the food ready, getting prepped and everything ready for the day. It was just, everything just got done. And everything went smoothly for, basically prepping for a disaster that was coming through. And then also being ready when the disaster happened. And then the afterwards, like we've kind of talked about having that extra in the tank. I get home and I get paged out for the fire department because they're evacuating the beach down over here by Lake Champlain. So I was out last night pretty much until 3 o'clock in the morning and back out again. So it's only really being mentally ready at that start of the day of like, I need to show up this way. You need to be this. I need to be this person today. And that really kind of, that really helped me kind of over there too. So I think that's what I really loved about the program was just combining that your body and your mind at the same time.
That's great. So you could say that you got a bit of a mental sharpening from a Great Range Athlete?
Oh yeah, it was more, I mean, I read all the time, but I think more just all of us kind of communicating about what we read and everything else like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think really kind of helped a little bit more, but it was also just going into just that other part of mentally, what does physically getting in touch with your body do,
Mm-hmm.
knowing what your body can do, and also knowing, how to listen, when to stop, when to go, but also what you will need. I think was another part of it over there too, as far as whether it be recovery or, you're going up Whiteface. So, all right, Whiteface is unpredictable. So I'm going to, bring a little bit of extra rain gear. I'm going to bring a little bit extra warmer clothes, or maybe bring a hammock because I may end up staying the night up there, or bring in an extra headlamp. But you should always bring an extra headlamp. I'm not going to say, but anyways, that's what I'm always saying about that is just more, mentally getting ready to go and not just saying, oh, physically I'm fit. I run 5Ks. This isn't going to be a big deal to me. And then being very humbled by whatever you do.
No, absolutely. I love it. I love it. And I mean, I tell people probably once a week, somebody I say this to, but I've said it for years, that a strong body builds a strong mind and a strong mind builds a strong life. Like, you become mentally tough by continuing to show up physically every day because it's hard. Like, nobody's making you show up to exercise, to breathe heavily and be uncomfortable. But when you mentally get yourself to show up, regardless of if anybody cares, that's hard to do. So you start doing something that's hard. Then when you show up, now you have to breathe heavily. That's really hard too. And when you think about going into the mountains, that's why I say the mountains don't care about you. Like, if you're not prepared, they don't give a shit. They don't care. So that's why it's so important to actually build that mental toughness. And, you probably remember the first couple of weeks of the program, pretty much every message I would send would be like, you guys are continuing to show up. Go take it one training day at a time. Just keep showing up. Just keep coming back. Keep doing it. Because I knew I had to keep you guys in, because I knew quickly actually that I was talking to Sarah about it. I was like, I may have over-programmed this. I may have made it too hard. But then I said to myself, no, it's not too hard, because I genuinely believe that every single person can do it, and they're going to show themselves that they can do it. Because of every single person in this thread, like you have each other. And when Joyce comes on and says that she did it, and Brian comes on and says that he did it, Matt, everybody comes on and says, that was hard. Holy crap. But I made it. And I said, that's exactly what it needs to be. Like it needs to be hard. I wish Joyce was here because she would be like, I could have never thought I was going to be doing 5 workouts a week. Cause she told me before we started, like it was making her a little nervous. And I was like, don't worry, trust me, you can do it. You can do it. And now she'll have this confidence. Like I can train 5 days a week. Something she's never done in her entire life. So there was a method to my madness to build that mental strength and that give you that mental sharpening that you talked about. So I'm super stoked that you've experienced that. And quite frankly, like in my opinion, we touched on the reading a little bit here, and I would like kind of interject those types of mental conversations into the thread. That's really just the tip of the iceberg in terms of people's capabilities when it comes to sharpening the mind compared to the body. In Great Range Athlete, we really focus on like, let's get your body strong so that you can have good adventures. But by touching on that mental stuff every so often, it definitely gives people a glimpse into what they're capable of and what you're able to do, which is good because you need that confidence when you go into the mountains because the mountains don't care about you. Oh, speak of the devil, Joyce has entered the building. Fantastic.
Guys,
She's almost here, and I'll tell her that I was just talking about her once she gets connected. All right, Joyce has entered the building. I was just talking about you, Joyce.
Oh, no.
All good things, but we'll get to you shortly here. Basically, I was we were talking about how Great Range Athlete has built a mental, has sharpened people mentally and built a mental toughness. And I was talking to you about how you had, reached out to me and told me that you were a little nervous about 5 workouts a week. It's something you've never done, but what did you do? You showed yourself that you can do it. And that builds a mental toughness that is beyond anything else that something's going to do. That's why when we physically train, we show up to do something hard voluntarily. That's what builds hard minds. It's the same thing with hiking mountains. Like no one's making you do it. It's really hard. It's really hard. But then you just do it. You do it. You do it. You do it. You get to the summit. You're like, this is amazing. Then you get back to the trailhead, and the amount of just like fulfillment and accomplishment and everything just like completely washes away the hard. And that's how you build that strength. So awesome stuff, Brian. Super psyched. And I want to thank you personally because you and Julie definitely posted in the thread more than anybody else, which is great because that's what we need. There's always the people that post more often, and that keeps it going because people tend to be timid. So the fact that that's not your normal thing, I commend you for stepping outside your comfort zone and doing that, because I can guarantee you that your posts help inspire other people to post too and help inspire them to show up to do the workouts, even though it's hard. Like everyone supports each other. And that's the point of it. That's why, I built this as a team environment, because that's exactly what I wanted to see happen. Awesome stuff, dude. Matt, I'm going to go up in my screen right now. Matt is directly above Brian in my screen here. Matt, talk to me about your story. So to fill Joyce in, we're talking about kind of what you thought coming into the program, why you signed up, what you hoped to get out of it, what went well, what was hard, what surprised you, what things you overcame, and just kind of what your kind of total experience was with Great Range Athlete, with this program, what you learned about yourself, that sort of thing. That's what we're talking about. So Matt, you go next.
And I'm going to start off with 822 calories were just burned. So thanks, James. I needed that today.
Nice. Go eat a
So
steak now when we're off this call.
I'm going to probably eat a double meal, that's for sure. But why'd I sign up? I think with me, I mean, kind of like Brian's story, I can hike the lower peaks, I can do whatever I want, but every time I've hit a 46er, for the most part, Cascade and Porter, not so much, but anytime I've hit something big, I've had issues. My legs have cramped. We've had to solo peaks, things like that. So, I wanted to build that up. I mean, fitness wise, I'm relatively fit. I've got muscle. I'm not going to say that because Great Range Athlete definitely humbled me from the conditioning side because burpees suck. Actually, they weren't my enemy though. Jump squats were my enemy for sure.
Done.
Yeah, those definitely, I mean, especially because I'm focusing on the let's get all the way ass to grass and then, jump up.
Sure.
So yeah, step ups are definitely not my favorite. And I don't know if it was 200 per leg or just 200, but I did 200 per leg. So
Oh,
probably
it
why I'm
was
dying.
100. It was 200 total, but you're welcome for those extra
So,
gains.
so, so yeah, that 400. Okay. But yeah, just stuff I'm not used to. I mean, I think it showed me different ways to get it in. I mean, with me, it's always been if I can't go jack big weight, I don't feel like I got to work out in.
Mhm.
For me, cardio has always been a Spanish word that I've never heard of.
Sure.
And definitely found out that I'm not going to lose anything from that. So I think, my big thing was learning there are different ways, which I always knew. I mean, I used to do CrossFit and things like that, but that I can actually enjoy the workout. And even if it's something I look at, I'm like, what the hell? I will say when I first got the programs, I was like, crap. I said, this is less than what I'm used to. And I was wrong. I was definitely wrong. Like, you say you programmed it too much. When I first saw it, I was like, this is it. I'm going to be out of the door in like 30 minutes. I don't think, other than maybe the first week, it's been an hour workout for me. So I think the first week it was like 58 minutes. Today it was like
Mhm.
an hour and 36. So
Hmm.
definitely, made me push myself, even, on the set. So I lost count on the step ups. So, okay, I did 5 more at the end. Maybe I missed one. Maybe I did 10 more than I was supposed to do. Just kind of that, get me over that next ridge, get me off that fake summit into the real summit. I think it really just, the drive's always been there, but it just kind of pushed me to keep going with it. And, one thing that's definitely helped is, my daughter loves these workouts with me because it's not like she can go to the gym with me as I'm lifting. So she was just doing step ups with me, holding my hand as I was on the bench out here.
Awesome.
So, and I was gonna put her on video, but she decided to strip because it's raining, and we're not gonna make you guys see that. But yeah, no, I think all in all, good program. I got what I expected, and definitely plan on seeing what benefits I got this weekend. So 16
Yeah.
miles, yeah. So yeah,
No,
it'll be
this
good.
weekend's hike
So,
will definitely showcase the new found conditioning, the extra leg strength, back strength, all the stuff that we built very strategically on purpose.
yeah.
So that you can have the adventures. The hiking sucks when you're not physically prepared for it, you're not physically capable of it. It is a terrible experience. But when you are, it is absolutely just soul igniting. It is just absolutely a fantastic way to spend your time. Um,
Yeah.
there's not many feelings that I feel personally. It's like going hiking, especially on like a big long day, getting back to the trailhead and saying, I could go do something else, and then just going home. But like feeling like that is an amazing feeling. And then I've also done days where it's like I get back to the trailhead and I say, I quit hiking. I'm not doing this ever again. And then usually by the following night, I'm like, I'm ready to go again. Okay, we'll go back again. But yeah, that's the whole point. Once you're able to really experience the mountains, life opens up in terms of the adventures that you can have. And it's not just here, obviously, it's anywhere in the woods, really. Um, yeah, it's great stuff. I love to hear it. So let's move on to Casey. Casey, you were the first person in here tonight. Hit me with your kind of experience with Great Range Athlete.
Yeah, uh, it was weird. I saw your post that you had room for one more, um, and I just was like the universe calling to me. It was exactly what I've been looking for. I've been dying to get into training for the mountains, and then also just to have structure. So having, whether it be over programmed, under programmed, just having a program to get me, like I said, structure at the gym, rather than I just started working out again and I was starting to lose interest already after like a month, because I was just going in and odds and endsing a workout, and I wasn't getting what I needed out of it. It wasn't fulfilling. or anything like that. It wasn't getting me anywhere near my end goal, like where I wanted to go. So after like 2 years of not working out, this was huge for me. And then and really one of the biggest wins for me is this is made me more comfortable working out alone. Just showing up, getting the work done, and driving myself, and really just pushing for the results that I wanted, and doing it for myself. And admittedly, that I agree. The Marco Polo was huge in that, like especially for the days where I just was like, you know what, I don't want to do it today. Like I could take today off, and it's you see everybody posting, and I'm like, nope, nope, today is not my rest day. I see Matt working out at 4:30. I see, some others working out at 9 o'clock at night. Last night, Patrick working out at 10:30 at night. Like those are the things like, I have the time. I can do this. I can get this in. So that's been, that was huge for me. Just knowing that there's others out there doing the exact same thing, pushing through, showing up, and showing up for myself. That was big. That was big for me. Some of the struggles for me were the front loaded carries, like that continues to be hard for me. And like Matt said, squat jumps. I 4 squat jumps in and my legs are full of acid. It's just, I could barely get down. I was actually really terrified after hearing some of the videos of the 30 burpees after this week's workout. And what I did was I just said, you know what, I don't have to, this isn't for time. So I don't have to, I thought back to Joyce with the 1 burpee every 6 seconds. I'm like, if I even just do 1 burpee every 6 seconds, I can get through this 30 in a consistent time. And I did a little bit faster than that, though. I just maintained a disciplined pace. And so, you know what, this is perfect, and this is exactly what we're training for, right? Like,
yep.
I'm not being timed up a mountain. Unless the sun's going, going down, in which case I'm going to be prepared with, like Brian said, with a couple of headlights. So there's just, even the struggles for me turned into wins. So that's, I'm very much looking forward to the group hike, just to see. It's been a while since I've been up a mountain, of the stature of a peak. I was out west last summer. I didn't feel like those were long. With the elevation gain wasn't outside of one, wasn't as much. And the last time I did a true mountain, even in the Adirondacks, was Ampersand, and that buried me. So that was probably a year and a half ago. I was like just so out of shape and was not prepared for just a straight vertical.
Yeah.
I mean, I made it.
Sucks when you're not ready for it.
Yeah.
Sucks.
Yep. Exactly. And so I'm really looking forward. Like, this has reignited my flame to become a 46er. I've got two done. I've got
Great.
Cascade and what's the other one? Algonquin. And Algonquin I did back when I was in college. We just hiked, and I did both of them. And I did Cascade January 1st, and I think Algonquin was like early February. A group of us hiked out, to like Lake Colden, stayed the night out there, and then went up that backside there. So it's been a long time since I've been up an actual peak. So
Great.
Really looking forward to this. So yeah.
Well, I want to say that you mentioned that your struggles became wins, and there's only one reason why that's what happened, is because you didn't let your struggle win. You overcame it. You kept showing up, and because of that, you were able to get to the other side. Most people quit at that point. And I'm sure you probably would admit you probably would have quit too if you were by yourself. That's kind of the impact of the team.
Yeah.
And, you know, waking up in the morning and knowing, you know what, I bet you Julie's already been to the gym today before most people are even awake. And boom, there's her message right there. And like, I wish she was here on the call tonight, but shout out to you, Julie's. I know you'll watch this call. Knowing that when you wake up in the morning, there's already messages there because people are already getting after it. It's hugely impactful. Over in my Seek to Do More world, I know the second, and I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'm not even the first person to post on that. And that, you know, I'm the coach, and it gives me motivation. Like, oh, my people are out there doing it. They're moving. Like, I got to get out there too. It is so impactful when you're doing hard things with other people. And when it becomes, when everybody kind of gets each other going, like, it's just always such a positive thing in every sort of team environment. And that's what's beautiful about this. It's like, and also too, once you know, once the hike begins, it's like, yeah, nobody here has ever met anybody in person. I've met a couple of you over the years in person, but for the most part not. But it's like, it's not going to feel like that. It's just, oh, what's up, dude? You know, it's like, it's not going to, you're going to forget that you've never met in person. Because we've seen each other so much in person, virtually. Awesome stuff, dude. And you got significantly stronger throughout the program.
I did. I did. Yeah, I got my last, so I think the first time I did a set of 10 for squats, I was around 315, which even when I did that, I impressed myself. Just because it had been so long. And last night I got 405.
There you go.
It was that was a big one. And I had a sunburn from vacation, so it hurt a little bit. But you know, that's I mean, and that was, I could tell, like, my last rep, I was like, if I go down one more, I'm going down.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
But just, yeah, in general, all around, I can feel the strength. I've been able to display it. You know, even trap bar deadlifts as well. But even just, you know, so like the rows and just being able to stand up straighter, you know, because I've strengthened my back, you know. So yeah, that's been a big
and you
mental
ran the
win.
Marcy program, I'm assuming.
I did,
or
yeah.
Marcy protocol, I should say.
I did, yep.
Awesome.
To me, that was, and even so, while I was on vacation, it was just really nice to have. I had one day where I was able to run Marcy, and it wasn't to the weights that I would have liked, but it was all the weights that I had available. So I just did like a tempo squat instead of, you know, just to feel the burn. But then having the other two protocols was huge. You know, it's like, okay, I don't have it, but there's still other alternatives. There's the body, you know, there's, you know, the body weight, and then if I've got dumbbells, I can run Gothics as well. So that's massive. Just to keep momentum going.
Yeah, it's great. No, I felt like that was going to be, that was just necessary to have these options for people to run based on their own desire, and then also plenty of days where everyone's doing the same thing. So I'm glad that, and I had a feeling too throughout the program that people would, you know, you'd pick your protocol, but then there might be a time where you have to do the other protocol, and I'm glad it worked out in that situation for you, because yeah, they're all impactful. I know Matt he ran Marcy too, but then he did the Cascade protocol when he was up at camp, and he posted about it on the thread, and, you know, talked about like that was a lot harder than he anticipated it being, because your body weight is hard. In fact, a lot of times people think, I get messaged a lot asking about, oh, body weight workouts, like these must be for beginners. And it's like, actually not. Body weight training is actually very hard. You have to be athletic or move in an athletic manner to do it. It's, you know, they're actually, it's deceivingly, they can be deceivingly difficult, I guess I should say. Great stuff. And also adding an entire plate to your squat over 6 weeks, not too shabby. You're squatting my weight now. Fantastic.
Nice.
So my one advice, do not stop. Do not stop. That's my advice for all of you. Do not stop. What's the point of building this momentum and then letting yourself off the hook to just kind of go right back down? You know, people hear me say this analogy a lot, but you know, you're driving a car, you're stopped at the red light at the top of the hill. You hold the gas on the car, your car will stay there. But the very second you let your foot off the gas pedal, the car starts to roll back down the hill. And it's rolls slowly to start. It, you know, just slowly starts moving down the hill. But then what happens? It picks up speed. It picks up speed. And before you know it, it doesn't stop at the bottom of the hill. It rolls way past the bottom of the hill. So that's kind of like yo-yoing in a nutshell. That's exactly what happens. And the car only stops, it only rolls backwards when you let your foot off the gas pedal. So I encourage all of you to not let that happen, because you've put too much work in, you put too much sweat equity in to allow that to happen. So keep it pushing forward. If you want help with that, just reach out to me. Happy to help to make sure that that's what happens. All right, Joyce. Can we all just agree that Joyce is like the MVP of the Great Range Athlete team? Can we
What?
all just agree that?
No.
I definitely, like I said, your messages get me so psyched up. And that one message about the 10-second burpees, like I still remember it. It's one of the highlights for me as the coach of the Great Range Athlete program. And I think everyone else was insanely motivated by it too. So talk to me about your experience, start to finish with the Marcy team.
Well, I signed up because I wanted to have some accountability. I'd been following your podcast for a while. I think you deliver the podcast amazingly, and
Thank
I'm
you.
jealous of how you run your business. I don't know how you keep all the balls in the air with all the different avenues of your business, the brand, the
I'll
logos.
let you know when I figure it out too. I don't know. I just do.
Being a small business owner, I know it's difficult to keep everything running smoothly and keep on top of everything. I don't know how you keep us all straight with what you're responding to us, and then you've got to seek to do more people. And now my dog wants to talk too. So of course I wanted to be part of this, and I liked the idea that it was with hiking in mind, and that there would be a hike at the end, because I had already thought about doing one of your guided hikes.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh, well, for just, about the same money, I can get a 6-week workout with it. And I thought that's a no brainer. And wouldn't it be cool to be on the first team? I'm sure you're going to do this again. And the accountability for me is key. Some days one day I even did the workout just listening to the Marco Polo blogs, instead of music. I just chose to watch all you guys, and that kept me going.
That's like, I'm not even kidding you. That's like my morning workouts every morning, because I have Great Range Athlete Marco Polo. I have Seek to Do More women's Marco Polo that Sarah's in. And the women send long messages in that Marco Polo. Am I right, Sarah? You guys send long messages. And then I have the men's Seek to Do More team. So it's like my workouts are actually usually doing exactly that, listening to everyone's messages. But it's like, it's odd. It's weirdly motivational, like listening to music, because you're hearing everyone talk about what they're doing to push themselves. And that becomes, immediate motivation every set to keep going. It's oddly impactful, but great. I love it. So continue.
Yeah, no, and I agree with what a couple of you have said, that, having that accountability, knowing that somebody else already did it and is going to be posting on it, keeps you going and posting as well. I didn't post all the time because I know my microphone was having trouble with that app. I don't understand why, but so I didn't really feel like I wanted to share, because I figured you probably can't hear me anyway. But I really enjoyed it. I didn't think I was going to do 5 workouts a week. I thought I would do 3 or 4. I turned out doing 5. I think I only missed 1 workout. And, sometimes I liked that you could swap them out and do them different days. I liked, that I talked to you about swapping out one of my YMCA classes. And when we did that this morning, we did burpees, where we also had to lift a weight over our heads at the end of the burpee. And I was like, oh, this is nothing. I can do this. And I've increased my weight of how much I'm, the dumbbell weight that I'm choosing. Sorry, my dog he thinks I'm talking to him. So I've noticed I've gotten stronger. I've dropped some fat. I've definitely gotten toned. And I'm doing it. And it's been a good outlet for me. I'm going through a really tough time right now. Sorry. With my daughter with a medical issue, and I've become her primary caregiver. So having those workouts has really given me a distraction for a little bit
Mhm.
and, to work on myself and to be stronger for her. It's really been good for me.
It's great. That's fantastic. When you set that time aside to sharpen yourself and to strengthen yourself, you now can show up for the people who actually matter as a better, stronger, more capable version of yourself for them. That's why we do
I
this.
did note, I did notice too, at volleyball this week, I noticed my lateral movements were a lot faster and I
Right.
didn't miss the ball as often. Because in volleyball, it's volleyball, but you're playing off the walls. So the balls are ricocheting off the walls and it's harder to return the ball. And I just noticed that I was getting them more often, and it was my lateral movements. And I think it's the strength of my legs that's
Right.
helped me to become a little bit better at that sport as well.
Oh, absolutely. And you were running the Cascade protocol, correct?
No, I did the Gothics.
The Gothics
mostly.
protocol. Okay. So with
Yep.
there's still, you obviously we're still doing, there's still all those body weight training days and everything, like strengthening your legs, becoming more agile, which is really like the reason I like the body weight training days in this, at least for everybody for everyone in general, but also if you're doing the Cascade protocol even more, but for everyone doing the body weight days is because it does exactly that. Like it makes you more agile to move. And if we all know, when you're climbing a mountain, the trail's not flat. It's not like walking on a sidewalk. It's all over the place. So you need to be able to move. You need to be able to stand on areas that like your legs aren't perfectly flat. They're onto the outside, into the inside. You stepped on a root. Like all these things make it easier for your legs to do what they need to do. And by that all that body weight stuff makes you so much more athletic and agile. And for you're seeing it and experiencing it by doing that, by actually playing the sports and seeing you move side to side in a stronger manner. Awesome. Glad to hear that. Fantastic stuff. Yeah, it's been a fun experience. I'm super psyched that all of you guys trusted me and trusted the program and trusted the process and didn't give up. There's a core group of people that were always posting in the page, and it's well over half of the team. So it helped the community vibe just grow tremendously. And I'm super psyched to hear how impactful each one of you were on everybody else. I didn't need to do any coaching with Great Range Athlete, very little. You all were showing up for one another just like a team does. So I commend all of you for that. But yeah, that's all I've got right now. This is what I wanted to do tonight, was just to share wins, share struggles, and talk a little bit about that. Oh, Sarah, my God, dude, I didn't even see you sitting up there in the corner. Like, what am I going to do? Not ask Sarah? Jeez Louise. Sarah, the also coach here, but hit me with what your thoughts were of Great Range Athlete and your experience. Also, my apologies for like not seeing you just sitting there quietly in the top corner.
It's okay. If I was quiet enough, I might have gotten a nap in during this call because I'm tired. So I joined. I mean, I know I'm not in poor physical shape, and I'm a 46er, so it seemed kind of redundant originally when I agreed to do this, because do I really need it? But I also know that I have always struggled on the uphill. I can compete in CrossFit and finish first or third, but when it comes to uphill in the mountains, I don't know. So that was my goal. And I was right with Matt in the beginning when I saw the workouts. I was like, oh, this is it. Because of my training load for CrossFit, I thought, but it still was equally as hard. I mean, I knew all the movements, so that was good. But it helped. It still, even though I was physically fit for CrossFit, it still helped me. It was a struggle to get both of them in sometimes, my training for what I was doing and then this. But I did the Marshall hike here a little less than 2 weeks ago. I packed into the Opalescent Lean-To with a 45-pound pack, 7.5 miles, set up camp, packed up camp, dropped my pack at the bottom of Colebrook Pass, went up it, saw all the plane wreckage with my son and my friend. We went to the summit, came back to our packs, and then packed out. And I think it was like total for us, because the way we did it was 19 and a half miles. But I never got tired. And that was after 2 days of competing.
Hmm.
I competed Saturday, I competed Sunday, Monday I packed out. So that made me extremely happy because, well, I wasn't the tired one anymore. Even when we went up Algonquin in February, was it?
Yes, February.
Yeah,
that
like-
range.
I felt like I couldn't keep up with you guys. And when I went up Marshall, I was like, wow, this isn't so bad. And then I took Wednesday off and then I went up Cascade for the fireworks. And I made it to the top of Cascade in under an hour. So that was huge for me.
Hmm.
2.2 and under an hour up there. I was pretty pumped for that. So I love watching you guys, and I'm sorry I wasn't more active between training and competing and seek to do more and all of it. I would watch and then I would mentally think things and then I would forget to respond. But I'm really excited at watching all of you grow and your excitement for it too. So because I've been doing things like this for 500 and some days now,
Hmm.
I know that if each of you don't give up, where you're going to be if you just keep going. So
Great. No, it's awesome. And also too, I think your training and, what the strategic training that we're doing also speaks to you with like, you just competed and then you were hiking multiple mountains just days later, like, and you were fine. I think that's really, what we're talking about in terms of, or I want to highlight because, a lot of you guys said like you climbed mountains, but then you're destroyed for days and days and after. But that kind of speaks to the whole point is to be able to do these things, get back and not want to die. That's kind of not want to feel like death. Obviously huge days you will feel tired and run down, but there's a difference between feeling broken when you get back to the trailhead and just being like, I'm done. I'd like to go home now. There's a huge difference there, but awesome. Super psyched to have you here. I appreciate your willingness to do this, especially given your training programs, what you do, your experience level. It was great. It's great to have you here. So I appreciate that. Sarah's like my right-hand woman basically in this training program here. So she is a badass. But anyways, I appreciate all of you doing this. It's been awesome. I'm figuring out kind of where to take things from here. But there should be some sort of next step, but I'm still kind of determining what that may be. I am going to be sending you guys an email in the next day or two to if you guys could just fill out. It's just like a review. Basically, I just made a form, just like fill it out. That just helps me for like kind of a feedback for how the program went. So if you'd be so kind to fill that out, I'd appreciate it greatly. And check your inboxes too this weekend. I am going to send you a week 7 training program. It is going to be, obviously it was not part of the plan. It was a 6-week program, but next week is going to be, what is it called? A deload week. If you're not familiar, it's where you're going to still train and do stuff, but at a significantly lower rate because you guys have just finished a program. So now what you need to do next is to chill out for a week. But chill out does not mean do nothing. It means just scale it back, relax a little bit, still get your muscles working. It's basically an active recovery week where you've been breaking down your muscles and all these things for the last 6 weeks. So this will help it to heal. And then after that week, which goes into our hike week, you should be feeling like 100%. So I'm going to send you guys a deload week training program for next week. So check your inboxes for that. And yeah, anyone else have anything they want to share with the team before we wrap this up?
Yeah, just I want to add to so that like one of the things that I loved about this was your approach to nutrition. I love that there wasn't like a strict layout, but how you broke down when to eat carbs, eating carbs around workouts, and then just hammering protein, and everybody sharing, the sweet tooth piece, because that's a huge thing for me. you know, I can feel the nutritional piece has really helped change my body composition, just like how I feel just sitting here right now. You know, and just even like after I eat, like where it was, you know, holding and everything. That has been a huge win for me as well, and has really allowed me to get excited about eating boring. I'll say, you know, coming from somebody who went to culinary school, I was really struggling with that, you know, and now I look forward to it, and I'm like, you know, just whether I season things differently or whatever it is, like I feel good after it, so that's what gets me excited.
Awesome. Glad to hear. Yeah, I'm a big believer with diet that philosophies are better than uh, a dietary philosophy gives you room to, you know, wiggle room with how you do it. And it allows you to like do a dance with your diet instead of it being this like strict, you know, macro this,
Yeah.
macro that. Personally, I don't track macros. I never have. Well, that's not true. I don't track macros religiously. I've tracked it to kind of get an idea as to how much food is needed. And I always tell people if you track what you're eating for a week, you kind of start to know what you're eating. You have a really good gauge as to how much you should be eating. But with that, I think a philosophy helps to kind of get rid of the overwhelm. You know, it's like, okay, you're going to eat meat, you're going to eat your carbs around this, you're going to eat that here. And you just keep going. You're going to eat these foods, not these foods, or occasionally you'll eat this and enjoy life, but most of the time you'll do this. It just becomes easier to not have to think about it, because I think the overwhelm with diet is why most people just go back to the whatever diet. So cool. Glad to hear that. Awesome stuff. But that'll wrap this up. Cool, everyone. Appreciate you being here. It's been a damn pleasure guiding you on this trip, and I look forward to our hike in a couple weeks and continuing. You guys all know where to find me. If any of you want to hear a little more about what I do with one-on-one coaching with Seek to Do More, hit me up. You know how to find me. Yeah, pretty much I help people get strong for the trail, but I also help people get strong for their life, because ultimately that's really what matters. And there's a lot that we learn from the mountains that transferred every day in life. If you listen to my podcast or you read any of my content, I talk a lot about how I use a lot of analogies from the mountains about how the mountains make us strong. And, you know, that translates to how we should approach life. And that's just what I truly believe. So it's been a fantastic ride. We'll see you guys soon. That's going to wrap this up. And I'll see you guys on Marco Polo. And again, check your inboxes this week. Going to have another week of training, keep the Marco Polo thing going for next week, and leading right into the hike. Have a great
Thank
week,
you,
everybody.
James.
Awesome.
Good night.
Cheers,
Guys.
Cheers.
Have a
See
good
you
one,
guys.
guys.